Hello there, it's Scarlett again here for video number 22 in our Make It Happen video series. And I wanted to talk a little bit about perception. So, what people perceive varies from person to person. And, their understanding of how something works can be different than how somebody else's work. That's the reason why people um, get into conflicts because what I believe may not necessarily be what you believe, and vice versa. So, I'll give you a good example about perception. So, most people would think reading a book it takes a long time, and that's why a lot of people don't read because it can get kind of boring. How about if I told you you can read 7 books in 21 minutes? You must be thinking to yourself, wait, how the hell are you going to read 7 books in 21 minutes? Well, our mentor Kiala, he actually showed us how you can do it. It's a little method called ultra reading. Like I had said, like a bunch of videos back, I was gonna get back to that topic, and so here it is. So ultra reading basically. Well, let me give you a little backstory. So Kiala got to do something really awesome. He got to hang out with a multimillionaire, and he shared this little this wonderful little secret called ultra reading with him. And basically, what it is you hold an intention of what you want to learn from the books that you have a stack of. So let's use 7 books in 21 minutes as an example. So you hold that intention in your mind, you open the first book, start reading, time it for 3 minutes, and as soon as that 3 minutes is up, close the book, move to the next one. And you do that all the way up until that 21 minutes is over. So now you must be thinking to yourself, okay, so how is that reading the book? Well, who's to say that reading the entire book is actually what you have to do to read the book? Because what if you're only meant to read a few passages? What if that's the only thing that you're really going to take away from the book? You wouldn't have known that had you not, you know, read anything. So you can say that you read 7 books in 21 minutes because reading the book doesn't actually mean having to read it from cover to cover, which that was a pretty amazing thought. And it just kind of goes to show that perception really depends on the person. Um, Even how people perceive themselves. Like my husband. We'll take my husband for instance. He may not think that he reacts negatively to things or he does negative things, but from the outsider looking in, you know, other people could tell him otherwise. And I know I had mentioned that he's been what I call the negative Norman, but it's funny because when the more he kind of heard that that was kind of how I was perceiving him, the more uncomfortable it made him. And he just kind of couldn't figure it out. And then me and him, we kind of duked it out a little bit. But then he came to the conclusion that just because he didn't see himself that way doesn't mean that that's not how others were perceiving him as well. So perception is a pretty big deal. One, you always have to make sure that if your understanding about something is limited, then pretty much your vision and your view scope is always going to be limited. Be open to other ideas of how something may work. Because maybe the reason why something isn't working for you is because you're only looking at it from one perspective. That's why it's always really good to get other people's feedback. So when I started the video series, like I asked like my brother and my sister-in-law and like some of my really good friends, can you just like watch a bunch of my videos and tell me what you think? And my dear friend Nisha, she turned around and told me, Scarlett, it sounds like you're talking to me. And I was like, thinking to myself, is that a good thing? But then I thought about all the times that me and Nisha get into our really deep conversations. And, I've always been the kind of person who wants to help people be the best that they can be. And I've always been one of those type of persons that look out for other people's best interests. So some people may perceive me to be overbearing or demanding, but to me, all I'm looking out for is their best interest. And see, that's where perception comes into play. So one person may feel this way about you can be talking about the same thing and feel two completely different ways about it. So perception is one of those things that you really want to be open to seeing how other people look at the same thing you're looking at, because their idea might be better, or it might be able to go hand in hand with yours, and then you guys can make an ultra mega idea. Who knows? But um, we do have more videos to go through. I don't want to go on for too much longer. But point blank, be more open minded, because changing your perception on small things can have a really big impact on your life. Come back and meet us in video 23, where I think Kenny is going to talk about something. I'm not too sure what it is, but stay tuned.